Hello everyone, Circeon here. How are you all doing today? Welcome to episode 6 of my 100% playthrough of Dragon Quest XI. In the last episode, we took a bath. In today's episode, we'll be cataloging the monsters of the Gallopolis region into our Bestiary, grabbing a whole assortment of valuable goodies for ourselves, and defeating this game's fourth boss, the Slayer of the Sands. With all that out of the way, let our adventure continue. Upon loading up our save, we head into the bar to speak to Noah, who gives us a green card which grants us access to the Gallopolis region. Veronica and Serana then pledge to aid us in our journey moving forwards and immediately make themselves useful by teaching us the zoom spell. We then attempt to cross the border but are stopped by Ickle, who sends us to his pocket dimension, which I've decided to avoid into a future video. Once we're out of Tockle's pocket dimension, we can head over to the Gallopolis region and begin cataloging some of its diverse variety of monsters. The first monster we wind up encountering is a Chimera, which has a 1 in 16 chance of dropping a Chimera wing and a 1 in 32 chance of dropping a flurry feather. The next monster we come across is a Cactoball, which has a 1 in 16 chance of dropping a Doomberry and a 1 in 256 chance of dropping a Thorn Whip. Following that, we wind up encountering a Brownie, which has a 1 in 16 chance of dropping some Witherwood and a 1 in 256 chance of dropping a Seed of Strength. And finally, at least for now, we can come across a Prestidigitator once night falls, which has a 1 in 32 chance of dropping a single file and a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a file of magic water. Knowing that most of this region's remaining monsters are locked behind story progression, I decided to begin scavenging the area for all its nicks and bobs. By hugging the northern cliff range, we can come across a threshable crop along with a piece of witherwood behind a rock a few feet south of it. We then continue northwards towards this little sand field where we can find a small scale, a mineable geode, and a chest containing our 8th mini-medal. Following that, we head towards Gallopolis' eastern lakeside where we can find a second piece of witherwood before heading westwards to pick up a beast bone. We then make our way to the west of this area's campsite where we can find a chunk of iron ore before heading northwards towards the Celestial Sands checkpoint where we can acquire some snakeskin near the eastern mountain range. With nothing left to scavenge or catalog for the moment, we can make our way over to Gallopolis to begin our typical ransacking spree. Starting with the east side of this kingdom, we can find a pod containing a pot of oasis water just outside the weapon shop before heading inside the nearby well, where we can find a Warmaline within a barrel along with a sprig of Narcissus in a patch of grass. We can then find a medical herb in a barrel just outside the armor shop before speaking to this woman to gain access to her house, where we can find both a bundle of software and a file of finessence within some pots and barrels. Following that, we can head inside the inn to read a book containing some crafting recipes before heading upstairs where we can find a turban and a dresser. After that, we can head into this little alcove just left of the circus tent to find a pod containing 21 gold coins before heading to this alcove to the left of the item shop to find a barrel containing a Doomberry. Moving on to the west side of this kingdom, we can find a piece of hardy hide within a dresser in the house just left of the entrance. We can then dip inside the alleyway to find a barrel containing 17 gold coins before busting through some barrels guarding the church's alleyway to grab a chest containing our 9th mini-medal. Speaking of the church, we can head inside to find a traveler's hood within a dresser along with an angel bell and a barrel upstairs. Following that, we can dip into the church's northern alleyway to find a pod containing 7 gold coins before heading to the northmost corner where we can find a pot and barrel containing both a dollop of horse manure and a single file. After that, we can enter the house just east of the horse stables to find a dresser containing 70 gold coins before heading in the abode just south of that to find a dresser containing a set of wayfarer's clothes. And finally, we can find a barrel containing 15 gold coins just beside this very house before heading to this kingdom's upper level where we can find 2 pots containing both a medical herb and 4 gold coins. Speaking of gold, we can spend 1300 in this town's shop in order to buy a dancer's costume, which unlocks it as an outfit option for Serana. With that done, we can now head towards the Sultan's palace to continue our looting spree. Within the entrance hall are 2 pots and a barrel containing a dose of strong antidote, a dose of strong medicine, and a grubby bandage. After that, we can head inside the room on the left to find 2 dressers containing a pair of fishnet stockings and a pair of boxer shorts, along with a chest containing some concrete earrings. Then, within the room to the right, we can find a feathered helmet in a dresser, along with a pod containing a sleeping hibiscus and a chest containing an iron broadsword. Finally, we can head upstairs to find a chest containing 1500 gold coins, along with 3 pots containing a pot of oasis water, a bag of kitty litter, and a water broken. During our time plundering the palace, we were approached by Prince Weakknees, who bribed us with a MacGuffin we needed in exchange for us participating in the local horse race. We easily smoked the competition, given this is nothing more than a glorified tutorial. However, as the old saying goes, if you win a horse race for a helpless sod, then you gotta kill a rampaging sand demon for him too. At least, that's how I remember it. Before leaving, I made sure to grab the 2 side quests found around town, as well as accept Sylvando's assistance, who's decided to tag along for literal shits and giggles. With the way to the Celestial Sands now open, we're free to continue our cataloging spree once more. First monster we wind up coming across is a haystack needler, which has a 1 in 32 chance of dropping a piece of lamb's wool and a 1 in 256 chance of dropping a rock bomb shard. Shortly after that, we encounter a shade, which has a very chance of dropping any loot dropped by other monsters in the area. Following that, we have a Crabber Dabber Doo, which has a 1 in 16 chance of dropping a tiny tortoise shell and a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a poison moth knife. We then encounter the first mini-boss of this region, the Spitfire, which has a 1 in 8 chance of dropping a magic beast hide and a 1 in 32 chance of dropping a dragon horn. I then attempted to encounter a golden globe, but wound up encountering some metal slimes in the process, which have a 1 in 32 chance of dropping a seed of life and a 1 in 256 chance of dropping a molten globule. Finally, after searching for over an hour, I was able to encounter a golden globe, which has a 100% chance of dropping a chunk of golden ore and a 1 in 8 chance of dropping an additional rousing ring. Having taken so long to slay this one monster, I had already managed to complete my second side quest and return to Gallopolis temporarily to accept my well-earned rewards. I then forged some new gear for my allies before focusing my attention once more on cataloging this region's last remaining monsters. The first of which was a Flython, which has a 1 in 8 chance of dropping a snake skin and a 1 in 64 chance of dropping a blue eye. The second monster, a Restless Armor, can only spawn at night and has a 1 in 128 chance of dropping either a iron broadsword or a suit of iron armor. With all the monsters of the Gallopolis region finally cataloged in our Bestiary, we can turn our attention towards scavenging this area's few remaining goodies before facing this game's 4th boss. By simply traveling along the eastern cliffside, we can come across a beast bone, a duneberry, a chest containing a lamplight, and a pot of oasis water. We can then head inside the winding caverns to find a wing of bat before doubling back along the Celestial Sands western portion to find a sprig of narcissus along with some glass frit. With nothing left to scavenge or catalog, we can finally face the sinister Slayer of the Sands. Slayer of the Sands has 712 health and can be pretty frightening if it decides to gasap your party. However, as long as we debuff it first with Veronica and buff ourselves with Serana, then this boss becomes little more than a nuisance. Prince Heidenkara tries to take credit for our kill, but nearly gets cut in two once the beast reawakens. Luckily, Sylvando steps in to save the day by proving this is his chapter and agrees to officially join our party after we learn that our MacGuffin is hidden within another castle. We're given the crackshot crossbow as recompense though, which is actually the strongest item in the game, before doing some lengthy skill reallocating for Sylvando to make him a better healer than Serana. But that's where I'll be leaving things for now. Our ending stats for today's episode are 59 monsters cataloged in our Bestiary, 29 accolades achieved, which I'll show here for those of you curious, and a still small yet ever-growing itemary. If you made it to this point in the video, then thank you so much for watching. Take care, and have a great rest of your day.
just goes on and on and on.